Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm back with another process video for you guys, and I am doing a Bible journaling page. I'm going to be working with this month's kit, Hives and Homes, in my interleaved Bible. I don't know that I've shown this one here on this channel in quite some time, but I needed some more space. I was working with some bigger elements today, so I had shared earlier in the month I worked through the reflection questions in my growth book, and so I will link that down below for you guys so you can go check that out. And I have just been thinking about this devotional content all throughout the month, and my Monday night women's study is doing an inductive study through the book of Colossians, so I thought it would be fitting to do the Colossians verse for today's video, since I've been really spending a lot of time in Colossians. We're not quite to this passage, Colossians 3:23. I'm actually going to do 23 and 24, but I just kind of went with some of the other studies that I was doing. So I will have everything linked down below for you guys if you want to grab your kit if you haven't already. This one is so good and so pretty, but the devotional content is super, super good. So the verse that we are journaling today, again, is in Colossians. I'm going to be doing 3:23 and 24. It says, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ." So we need, in all that we do, it needs to be for the glory of God and with our focus on God, not with those around us. That is a struggle, especially in today's day and age with social media and, just everything going on around us. There's this constant comparison or I know that I feel it quite a bit, especially in this space working online, having, my faith walk be so present online for so many people. I can very easily fall into the trap of making decisions or creating things or sharing things or doing things just for the sake of, what other people are going to think or what other people are doing. And so I definitely wanted to spend some time journaling in this verse because, as always, my focus should be on Christ, and I should be doing anything and everything for His glory, not for my own, not for anybody else's. And so I wanted to have a little journaling spot. So I had kind of let me show you what I've pieced together and then we'll dive into the process. So I kind of wrote out the title that I want on the front of this card. Now I'm using a mixture of the actual physical kit and some of the printable items, and I'm throwing in some other items from my stash. And so I have this journaling card from the printables. And I wanted this phrase, "I promise to work only for the Lord. He is my hope and future." And so I'm going to show you some tips and tricks throughout this video for, layering or just the creating process. Some of the stuff that I cut out of the video that you don't see, I'm going to leave in today so that you can kind of see that. And so this is one of the things that I do is kind of pencil out how I want it to look. I'm going to be using a mixture of the stickers, some typewriting. I may even use a little bit of stamping. And so I wanted to kind of see how that phrase is going to look, and it's going to go on the front of the card. And then I'll have the back of the card that I can do my journaling. Because I'm creating a little pocket, I can also stick additional cards in here if I need to do some additional journaling. Maybe I need to come back and revisit this verse at a later date. Pocket journaling is something that I do quite a bit for that reason. Many of us, fill up Bibles kind of quick, or maybe you only have one journaling Bible, and so you don't want to invest in another journaling Bible. And so this is a great option for getting more bang for your buck, I guess, is that you can come and revisit verses on this page when you create a pocket. So you can just continuously stick notes and prayers and journaling all in that little pocket. So I am using one of the pattern swatches. This is also from the printables that I cut apart, and this is going to make my pocket. And then I'm going to keep the background fairly simple. I am going to go in with a stencil. I've also pulled these out. These are from Felicity Jane, these little hexie stickers. And when I saw these, I immediately thought of this month's kit. These are a chipboard sticker, and the colors aren't a perfect match. There are a few colors in here that will work. And so I thought these would be fun to mix and match with the stencil stencil, so you get some different sizes. So I will have these linked down below. And then the star of the show is gonna be these elements that I created using a die set. So I did this off camera because this is very tedious. This took me a couple hours to put these together. I do have a Tip Tuesday on my channel that I will link down below, sharing some tips and tricks for this specific die, and I will link the die down below. So this is the Garden Picks die, and as you can see, it comes with a lot of layering elements, and so basically you build up your florals with different colors so they have a lot of dimensions. So one trick that I have for that is that I color my own paper. So you could use colored cardstocks, but this is just easy for me to do because I have a lot of, spray stains or paints or even gelatos, color 2 crayons, watercolors. You can use any medium to make your own colored papers. So off camera, what I did was just take some mixed media paper. Again, I will link everything that I used down below, and I just sprayed each one of them in different colorways, trying to match some of the colors to this month's kit. And so I used brushed corduroy for the deepest color, and then I went in with fossilized amber. And then this one here is gonna be scattered straw, and then antique linen is gonna be my lightest color, and that's the color that I have in the color swatches for this kit. And then I wanted to pop a gold because the washi tape has some gold in there. Now this kind of didn't work out, so don't do what I did. I used some gold acrylic ink and just dropped it out onto my nonstick mat and then swiped the paper through that ink, but it's sticky when it's too built up, when you get too much of it built up. So you may want to go in with a brush or find a metallic spray. So I had this Heidi Swap spray. These are discontinued, and that's kind of why I didn't want to use it for the sake of the video, but I will try to find some kind of alternative metallic spray to put down below for you guys. The ones from Tim Holtz, the mica sprays, don't come, I don't have a true gold. So I'll see what I can find. I'll link something down below for you, or you can use a gold metallic cardstock to avoid the stickiness factor. That's something I'm going to have to deal with. And then I have Chipped Sapphire is my deeper blue, and then Stormy Sky is my lighter blue. And so I have shown this technique on my channel several times where I just spray the inks on the paper, add lots of water, dry it, and then I'm good to go. I can die cut out. So I didn't want to take up time showing that in the video. So I did a mixture of these dyes, and then I threw in some extra greenery dyes from this set here. So again, I will have those all linked down below. One tip for working with these layering dyes is that I like to add double-sided adhesive to the backside of my paper before I die cut it. Again, I share all of this in that Tip Tuesday video specifically for this die set, so you can check that out down below. But some double-sided adhesive makes it super easy to just pop out the pieces and layer them how they are to be layered on there. And so these are gonna be kind of my focal point on here. So I'm gonna kind of mix and match from my stash with this month's kit. So all that to say, let me go ahead, we'll put you guys on fast forward, and we will quickly put together this entry. It shouldn't take very long since I've done all the prep work off camera for you guys today, but don't forget I have those resources down below for you guys. So let me go ahead and put you on fast forward, and we'll put this entry together. Okay, so I'm not doing anything that may potentially bleed through the page, so I'm not going to prep it or add gesso or anything like that. I'm just going directly onto the page. And I pulled out the stencil. This is the add-on stencil this month. And I'm just using a micron pen to sketch in a few of these little honeycomb shapes. I'm trying not to overthink it. I'm just kind of randomly putting them around in the background. You could use a marker, you could use inks if you wanted to blend it in there. There's a lot of different ways you could do this, but I liked having the kind of pop of contrast and those open line drawn hexes in the background that will offset the filled in hexy stickers that I'll be adding onto here as well. So I'm just adding a few to the bottom and a few to the top. Now a lot of this will be covered up by the different embellishments. So again, I'm trying not to overthink it. Just stick them down there. Nothing too crazy. And now I can kind of start positioning things and see if I need to add some more. This is that fine line between not too much and just enough. Does that make sense? So I got it how I wanted it. And then here is a little trick. So I have pulled out my iPad. What I did was I actually laid out the florals how I wanted them, spent quite a bit of time fussing with them, and then I took a picture with my phone. Typically, I'll just use my phone to refer to, but since I'm filming with my phone, I went ahead and just pulled it up on my iPad so that you guys could see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna leave that image pulled up while I start assembling this page. This is extra helpful when you're doing a lot of clustering. Maybe it's with florals, maybe it's with different paper elements, scraps of papers and die cuts and things like that. You can even put stickers on wax paper and just kind of temporarily position them places while you decide where you want them to go. This is really helpful when you're working with a lot of different elements before you start gluing things down. Now, different from the photo, I did go ahead and add a little bit of that washi tape. Like I said, I wanted to bring in some of that gold detail. So I just tore off a piece and then tore it in half and added that to my little pocket. For the pocket, I just used some liquid adhesive and applied it to the very edge, two edges and the bottom, leaving the top open to stick the card into it. And I just need to keep in mind that that pocket needs to stay open for the card as I lay down these florals. So you'll see that I'm careful how I glue these down so that I'm not adhering that pocket shut, if that makes sense. And then I just use that reference to kind of lay everything out, and then I start gluing down, and I start working from the back to the front. So the backmost elements I'm going to pull out, add a little adhesive to, and then stick down. Now, you could add double-sided adhesive to these elements as well before you die cut them out, but I don't always do that because sometimes I like things to kind of, have some movement, not be completely adhered flat to the page. And also like that topmost yellow flower, I need to be careful with that one because it may seal shut my pocket. So what I'm doing here is actually using my powder tool to kind of dust some powder onto the top half of the flower. That removes the stickiness because I happen to have double-sided adhesive on that particular layer of that flower. And that way I'm not gluing shut my little pocket. But again, make sure you check out that Tip Tuesday video for these dies. I'm going to also link some alternative dies down below. They're a lot simpler than these. They're still a layering die. I've used them before. You've probably seen them on my channel. I think I've used them on here as well. They only have like 3 layers, 2 or 3 layers, as opposed to the 5 that some of these flowers have. These are very small, very delicate. I created 3 sets of each one of these flowers and leaves. So I have an abundance of these already made that coordinate with this kit. And so if I wanted to do a memory next card or another Bible journaling entry, the time has already been spent making these flowers and I can just use them on future entries. So that's kind of another tip, is just batch work. Make a whole bunch all at one sitting because they do take a little bit of time. And that way you are good to go for multiple pages. So now that that's all adhered down, we can finish up the background now that we have an idea where those floral clusters are going to go. So I just had to add this little bee. This bee is so cute. So I'm stamping it in, I think this is gingerbread Versamagic chalk ink. Chalk inks don't seem to bleed through in this particular Bible. So again, I didn't have to worry about prepping the page or anything like that. And then now I'm going in with these hexy stickers, and I'm using, they're like a purpley pink gray color. And then there's like a very, very like pale pinkish white, and then the mustard yellow. Again, not perfect matches, but it's close enough, and it just adds some really fun detail to the background and texture. You know me, I love texture and dimension and different feels to my page, and so this just adds a little something different to it. If you don't have these, you could do paint splatters, you could draw in smaller hexes, you could use a paper punch. There's a lot of different things that you could do in place of that. I'm just using a brush marker to create a little trail for that bee. And I will come back in towards the end of the video and add another bee because I just felt like there needed to be more on this page. But in the meantime, we're going to work on that card. So again, this is from the printable set, and I'm going to use a mix of the alpha stickers and the word stickers from the sticker sheet, and then I'm also going to type out some phrases. Now, I had initially planned on typing directly on this card, but I was a little weary about that because if I messed up, then I'd have to print the card or something like that. So I went and just pulled a little scrap piece of cardstock and ran that through my typewriter, and then I'm cutting those phrases out. And this also gives me the opportunity to kind of figure out where I want things before I stick things down, and I can kind of, move things until I've committed to where I want it to be. So I was not planning on this working out when I stuck it in the pocket to only show the top phrase, but I got lucky. It only it worked out when I stick it in the pocket where it says, I promise to work only for the Lord. And then as you pull the card out, it says, He is my hope and future. And that's kind of what verse 24 kind of touches on or goes into is, I thought that the second line needed to go along with that additional verse. So again, always about context. I don't just read the, one line of verse that's in a devotional kit. I like to read all around that verse as well. So here's where I add that other B, and that is going to be it. I'll go ahead and do my journaling off camera on the back side of that card. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below for me. Check out the description box for links to everything that I mentioned. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.